Hi guys, I'm Sarah. We're going to talk about how we got the future wrong. And I have notes, I'm cheating, sorry. So as an avid reader of car and driver and dystopian novels and a watcher of 2001: A Space Odyssey and a consumer of tech media, I've spent the last 25 years observing what the future would look like. From about 1989 on, I could have confidently told you that in the year 2011, barring mutually assured destruction with the USSR, we would have personal assistants who fulfill our every need. Cars purchased for their size, a phone to use in the bathroom, a phone to use in the car, and a phone to use on airplanes. And on the not-so-great front, we would have threats from enemies that are near indefensible and impossible to spot very far in advance. This was supposed to be the future. Someone creates something, then other people improve on it, and then extrapolate that in 5, 10, 50 years from now, our version of the future will be correct. A lot of times it isn't. I'm still waiting for my Cadillac that flies with tail wings. We innovate and iterate and end up at a place we couldn't have predicted, but it seems like it's a cycle, so it doesn't matter. I don't know, but I've noticed this pattern a lot of different places. So the personal assistant who fulfills our every needs, servants, slaves, and outside assistants have been around since chapter 9 in Genesis. From there, it took about 5,000 years for Apple to come out with the iPhone 4GS and sell 2 million of them with Siri built in about a week. Much like Jetsons Rosie or Star Wars R2-D2 foreshadowed, the personal assistants no longer require a paycheck, and we don't have to chain them up to keep them working for us. However, they also don't have arms or legs, and they're not a beast of burden for us. There are brains in our eyes and our Boolean searches. The help we need isn't sweeping or cleaning, it's directions, reservations, and a perfect translation of, excuse me, I need to go to the bathroom. We sort of got the future wrong. So the bathroom phones and the car phones and the airplane seat phones, well, the 80s and 90s were a great time for plastic manufacturers because every Surface had a phone about this big, sort of attached to everything. The era of phones everywhere had arrived. No more would people be chained to their home, office, or trying to find a payphone. Communication was everywhere, and it was hard to miss. Now, less than a quarter century later, and 30% of Americans don't have a landline, but not the way we would have expected. Static phones everywhere weren't the future. Mobile phones anywhere were. And the cars, I'm from Michigan. So growing up, cars came in one variety, big and American made. Cadillacs lost the tail fins, but kept a form factor closer to an RV than a coupe. The Hummers were, for a brief moment, the ultimate of transportation for deep-pocketed, overcompensating men for whom driving to work and back was sort of a militaristic endeavor. The gas was 99 cents a gallon, so it didn't really matter. You know, after 9/11, the war in the Gulf and OPEC, it really changed overnight. Bigger came to stand for tone deaf and greedy, and the worst thing that can happen in the American heartland, too expensive to fill your car tank. So all of a sudden, we're going away from Hummers. You can only get them now if you're actually in the military. Fuel efficiency is sort of the watchword. Milk Studios has the Evolve, which is an electronic motorcycle. The Harley drivers would probably roll over in their graves, but it's selling. In The Revenge of the Electric Car, one of the big three automakers, money men, after years of sort of decrying anything electric, was showing off proudly his hybrid cars and his electric cars and how eco-friendly they are. Gas isn't a renewable resource, and 103 years after the invention of the Model T, car makers are scaling back and focusing on sustainability. And for the military attacks, Duck and cover was supposed to save us from the red threat. Nuclear warheads that were capable of wiping out life as we know it were going to be thwarted by hiding under a desk. Now it seems like since Mr. Gorbachev tore down the wall and Kim Jong-il is more interested in kidnapping hikers and dressing up like cartoon characters, we're pretty safe from that threat. What we're not safe from? Wired magazine was recently reporting that drones, the unmanned air assault vehicles that have Hollywood-ready names like Predator and Raptor, they're America's tool of choice for both conventional and shadow wars, and they're being hacked. Some by average hackers, everyday hackers, and some by Iraqi insurgents who were able to access hundreds of hours of American security, top secret classified plane footage with a $26 device. You know, and the banks can't protect data from garden variety basement hackers, so I don't know how they're going to stand up against enemy combatants. The defense contractors in America hires are being hacked as well. Nukes we're probably safe from, but the zeros and ones of hacking and codes are the new form of warfare. I'm not sure how you duck and cover against an unseen threat. Questioning sort of what we really know about the future, you know, we're in Silicon Alley. This is sort of the new hub of technology for advertising and marketing and e-commerce and geolocation and all of these things, but how many of these new technologies are innovating and how many are just sort of iterating on what's known? How many of these solutions are poking at mainly solved problems? I don't know. Smartphones have spawned a robust marketplace for apps and bytes and bits of data with killer animations, great user experience, and they're a total drain on networking services. So all the wireless carriers are cutting people off, while the app makers are making their apps bigger. Will the future of the app be HTML5? I don't know. We weren't right about cars or servants or warfare, so who knows what we'll abandon next? Are we building the future or just perfecting the present?